Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Remember, you have greatness inside of you. Welcome back to another App Daily News with the hockey coach, Guru Coach FRENCHY. Today, episode number 238. What you have been, coach? First of all, I want to talk about the injuries. Do you believe those injuries stop the development for the Montreal Canadiens? We want to talk about the KIRBY DACH improvement. Then the NHL Draft 2023 from Craig Button and Bob McKenzie. Both of them suggest some different players for the Montreal Canadiens for the next draft. But before we start, we invite you, please don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the Hockey Nation Show, and please leave me a comment about this episode. And let's dive in talking about my first subject of the day. My first subject of the day, guys, about the Montreal Canadiens ab injury update. 11 players are right now out from the roster for the Montreal Canadiens. We have 2 players maybe coming back very soon, Sean Monahan and Jake Allen. But I want today to talk about 3 players. First of all, Kenan Cooley out for a minimum of 2 months. Juraj Slavkovsky and Cole Caulfield, both of them out for the rest of the season. My question I ask you today, guys, about this way. First of all, Montreal Canadiens at the beginning of the season talk about only the development this season. They want to develop the players to become better. They want them to progress during the season. And this including Slavkovsky, Caulfield, Cooley, Harris, Kovacevic now, and Jakai. But right now, with the 3 of them out almost for the rest of the season, what is going happening with the development? At least a minimum of 40 games for them for the development. And Martin Saint-Louis always mentioned, guys, it's all about the repetition. And that's the reason Slavkovsky stayed with the Montreal Canadiens. And I'm not sure this is going to be a great news for the Montreal Canadiens. Is it possible those injuries is going to backwards the development of the plan of the Montreal Canadiens without 3 players cannot play for the rest of the season? A lot of guys, when you miss the half of the season, would be very interesting. This is going to turn around, but I believe right now this is a really bad news for the Montreal Canadiens. Many fans say, oh, that's great. We're going to go tank. We're going to go lower. We're going to maybe finish at the bottom 4. The injury of Caulfield could be a problem a long term. We don't know the gravity of the injury. Those kind of injury could be take up to 3 years for the player to come back at 100%. And I think this is more valuable, the performance of Caulfield still on the ice versus to tanking. So really important how they go to recovery. And for me, this is really bad news. First of all, for the injury. And secondly, for the health. And thirdly, it's about the progression and development. So I just want to share with you. I would like to hear from you what you think about my first subject. Are you agree with me this going to be possible stop the development for the 3 players at this moment during the season with the Montreal Canadiens? Let's dive in now for the second subject of the day. My second subject of the day, guys, I want to talk about the Montreal Canadiens staff development. What are you talking about? I really believe, guys, Montreal Canadiens have 2 great coaches. Nobody talk a lot, and they are on the ice during every day with many players from the Montreal Canadiens. Work a lot with the prospect on the ice and off ice with videos. Talk to them, report to them. It's not only the Montreal Canadiens roster, but of course other prospects play around the world, and NCAA junior, and Adam Nicola and Scott Pellerin does an amazing, great job. Montreal Canadiens 1 year ago when Ken Hughes and Jeff Gordon got hired, they talk about the fact they're going to increasing the number of the scout and the staff development. They're going to give for the Montreal Canadiens prospect many tools that they can become better. And that's the reason who they are right now, Montreal Canadiens. But today I want to talk about, guys, not only the rookies benefit from them, but I want to talk about specific players. KIRBY DACH improvement. If you watch KIRBY DACH last season with the Chicago Blackhawks, and you see KIRBY DACH, you have big difference between the first 3 months with the Montreal Canadiens and the one he played with the Chicago Blackhawks. But now, this month, it's unbelievable what KIRBY DACH has become with the Montreal Canadiens. He played now as a center, and then his confidence is so much good. You can feel it. You can see it from the way he performed on the ice. His transition is unbelievable. Carrying the puck on defensive zone, to the neutral zone, to the offensive zone. He set up the offensive all the time when he carried the puck. He's two-way center. He played an amazing, great game on the 200 feet on the 3 zone. Really good on the defensive zone coverage. And finally, one of the biggest problems he has in the past with the Chicago Blackhawks. He was shy to shooting because he was always trying to pass the puck to Patrick Kane or Jonathan Toews. You can see now Doc is not afraid to shoot the puck, and that's the reason now he have 9 goals with the Montreal Canadiens. Now, of course, his performance as a face-up is not great. Only one area he need to improve. Overall, for me, I'm really impressed by the improvement of Kirby Dach since the beginning of the season. This is the one reason I believe the job of Adam, Nicolas, and Scott Pellerin is amazing with the Montreal Canadiens since the beginning of the season. Now, my next question, guys, it will be like this for you. And I would like to hear your comments. Who could be the next one for the Montreal Canadiens to discover a player like Kirby Dach? I'm going to suggest you a couple of names. Puljo Javi for the Edmonton Oilers, big right winger, 24 years old. Neil Aucklander for the Vancouver Canucks, play right now back on the American Hockey League, 21 years old. Then, of course, Alexis Lafrenière for the New York Rangers, first overall pick. And finally, Maxime Comtois, second overall pick, 44 overall by the Anaheim Ducks. Not have a great year. We remember 2 years ago, have a great season with the Anaheim Ducks. And finally, Beauvillier with the New York Islanders cannot find a way he played a couple of years ago. Do you believe those 5 players, maybe other players you maybe can mention to me by leaving comments to me, who could become the next Kirby Dach for the Montreal Canadiens? Let's move on for the next subject for the Montreal Canadiens today. My last subject of the day, guys, about the NHL Draft 2023. We have 2 experts. Greg Budden gave some advice for the Montreal Canadiens, who they could pick. Then we have Bob McKenzie just released today his mid-season NHL Draft prospect. And today I want to talk about both of them. First of all, let's do it in NHL Draft Lottery. The Montreal Canadiens are selection number 7 overall, and the pick of the Florida Panthers are right now 12 overall. But let's dive in and talking about the NHL Draft Lottery. Let's do a sim lottery right here. And let's click on this one. You can see Montreal is number 7, just behind Vancouver and above Ottawa Senator. And then number 12 is Florida. The pick go to the Montreal Canadiens. Here we go. Columbus jumping from 1, Chicago from 1, Anaheim from 2, Montreal stay 7, and Montreal stay 12. Let's do it again. See if we have a couple change. Montreal is the first overall pick. The Montreal Canadiens win Connor Bedard. Are you kidding me? I did many times. This is the first time Montreal Canadiens pick number 1. Unbelievable. This is live recording, guys. I don't know what to tell you right now. This is live. I'm telling you right now, it's the second time I did it with you guys. The NHL Draft and the Montreal Canadiens jumping from number 1 to select Connor Bedard. But let's stay number 7 and number 12. I'm not sure they're going to win the NHL Draft, but unbelievable. First of all, guys, the Alps player they talk about, both of them, I really like those players. Will Smith from USA, 18 years old, is going to be 18 years old, want to play driver. He compared him a lot like Clinton Keller or Bo Horvat. Benson, another great player right now playing on the WHL and with the Winnipeg Eyes. He's right now have a better season compared to Savoie draft last season in NHL. Dalibor Devoski, another great player, play for Slovakia. Then we have Barlow. What a season Barlow has, of course, in junior. Yager, another great center. Ray Leonard played with Smith and Moore. Those 3 players played for the same team. Oliver Moore, for me, is really the next player could become the Dylan Larkin, where the Montreal Canadiens could select number 12. And then the defenseman, Sandon Pelika, look considered as the best defenseman on that draft at this moment. He's a right defenseman. Coach, if we have a pick right now, who do you select as a number 7? Let's see, Michkov is out. Let's see, Smith is out. It's going to be between Devoski, Benson, and Barlow. If Benson is open, guy, I take Benson. Then I'm going to go with Devoski, and I will go with Barlow. That will be my 3 picks. I will not touch Yager for me. The 12 selection with the Florida Panthers. Who do you select? This is a great one over there. Between Leonard and Moore and Pelika. I know what Moore can bring. I know what Leonard can bring. But I know already what Mézard, Farrell, Roy, Kidney can bring for the Montreal Canadiens. I think at that moment, because the right defenseman is not strong enough, I understand that we cannot pick by the position, but maybe as the best player. But if you don't have a big strength between Pelika and Moore and Leonard, in my eyes, I would select Sandin Pelika right now as a 12 overall pick for the Montreal Canadiens. But again, guys, what a great coincidence. When I did my second sim lottery, Montreal Canadiens won the lottery and possibly got Connor Bedard. And this concludes, guys, all my subject I have on this episode. Here we go. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode 238. But before we leave, we invite you. Don't forget, guys, first of all, the Montreal Canadiens host the Boston Bruins tonight. Yes, we're going to do the play-by-play commentary. I invite you to join me at 7:05. And of course, we wish you an amazing, great, blessing day. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.